I will say it like this. Even though he has high function, to sustain the relationship, that high function will run its course if that's all you have.
Drinking and driving is a decision that could change your whole world. You can face a life-altering injury or potentially death. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving. The next time you're out drinking, call a rideshare, taxi, a sober friend, or a designated sober driver. The only decision that will change your world for the better is the decision to call a sober ride. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
So you being who you are, you attract a certain type of man. Me being who I am, I can take anybody and transform them into who I want them to be. A woman cannot do that.
That's not true.
In most cases.
That's not true.
Okay, she's not willing.
No, I'm saying that no man can take a woman and transform her into what he wants her to be. She came in and is willing to allow you to tell her what you want and she'll submit to those. You're not God, and you're not the potter maker. So your hands ain't on no pot, sweetie, taking a woman and conforming. You just don't have that power. You probably would like to, but you don't have that power. You can take her, like I just said before, with the womanizer and the guy who, me being in your studio, and say, baby, these are the qualifications, and she chooses, which is her free will to never be yours, to hit them points or not. And when she chooses to hit them points, you then choose to keep her or you choose to shake her. Because you can never take water, you can never take water, baby, and make this 7-Up. You can pour it out and fill it back up, but this will never turn to what you wanted. You're not Jesus. You ain't turning water to wine. That's not how it happens. Now, you can't take a woman and make her what you want. You can tell her what you want, and I'm gonna give her power back, and she'll choose to be that. But you don't get the power of saying you made her that, whether an entrepreneur or a mother or a wife. She chooses to let you do that by telling you, I'll submit to those orders. There's a difference. Now, with the man, a high-valued woman can do the same thing with the man. Baby, you want to be here? This is the qualifications. This is what I need, the prerequisites. He can say yes or he can say no. Either way. But if he chooses to do that, then that's his choice, and she got what she wanted. It's all about conduciveness. Is it conducive or not?
Right.
However, we don't potter nobody. And that's where the disconnect comes in at, with people who are high-valued but low-functioning.
But I don't want
High-valued but low-functioning. The high-valued, low-functioning, I'm going to say it again, y'all stick with me. High-valued, low-functioning thinks the high value can attract the low functioning, and the low functioning and that high value person thinks they can potter the low functioning and mold them to be what they want. It don't work like that at all. That person still chooses to become what you're telling them you want them to be. That's still their power, and they can take it back when they want.
What up, what up, what up? It's your girl, Sean. Sean Watson is in the building. Yes, you don't see a Brian Foster. If you were recently on his live, he is on a boat.
I'm here, though. Hey, y'all.
He is on a boat. He claims he's going to be here, so we'll see if that happens or not. But nonetheless, the show must go on, and here this motherfucker comes
And
now.
there he is. I thought that just was going to have to be a slide.
Not at all. I was talking about how much we miss you, B Falls.
I wasn't saying I missed you.
You weren't saying that?
I was not.
Anyway,
You want to see?
I'm well, now he needs to be mic'd up. Now it's just go look a flaming hot episode. But that's okay. Y'all been to this show before.
What up, y'all?
B Falls fresh off the boat, and that's not
Boat season, baby.
hyperbole.
Is it?
Boat season,
It's not-
baby. It's almost.
Isn't it boat season? It's now later. Boat season is almost over, so I guess you had to get that last little Hawaiian.
I had to jump. It's almost.
Yeah, it's like 3 more weeks left.
It's still boat season. Don't get it twisted.
When does boat season end, Brian?
When the boat goes in the it goes to the garage.
When the boat goes away.
You should make sure your pack's on.
No.
Yes, sir.
Oh my
I got
God.
my boss back in the studio. I love it.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining. UCB Falls is in the building. I'm in the
Big
building.
boss is in the building.
Loud and drunk. loud and drunk. Anyway, I'm gonna end this goddamn show. Look, I can't have two fuckery shows in 1 week.
I'm good. We're good. Like, what is happening?
Let's give them a pause
No,
and
I'm okay.
let's introduce our virtual guest. He's been on the show before. He's probably going to be the only professional on this particular episode, but that's okay. We need somebody that's straight laced. Maybe he'll come with the fuckery too. Colette, good. How you doing?
Good evening, family. How are you doing this evening?
Good. Fresh off
Good evening, family. How are you doing?
fresh off of healing people, and now you come to this bullshit. Thank you for joining.
We all need balance, right?
Diggity facts. And the lovely, I feel like she doesn't even need to be introduced anymore. She's a staple in the zone. E. Callie, Erica.
One of our faves.
Yes.
I'm back.
We're going to have to talk about your participators in the zone too.
No, don't do that on air. Don't do that on air.
We can do that after the fact.
Yeah, please, thanks.
All right. So we saw the video. B. Foster, you need us to play it again so you can catch
No,
up to where we're.
You know what it is.
Well, it was a different clip than what you shared, but I digress.
Oh,
My mic's not on?
it's not on. It's real.
Technical difficulties already, and the show just started.
Let's go.
It's hot.
There you are.
Okay. So we saw the clip. We saw the clip where Dr. Brian, who, quite frankly, you need to watch that episode. She read him the entire episode, the entire 2.5 hours. Nope, not the entire. Definitely the last hour and a half. She gave him the absolute and total blues. But in this particular clip, Cam decided to tell Dr. Bryant that he had the ability to make a woman whatever he wanted them to be. And Dr. Bryant said, no, Negro.
Not so.
That's not how any of this works. No matter what illusions the women have given you, that is not how this works.
Not so.
So I don't know. Did everybody only see clips, or did anybody actually
I
watch
didn't
the entire?
watch the whole thing because I don't have that type of patience.
That's fair.
And/or time.
Oh boy. Oh boy, it hurts my nerves, so I ain't had time for that.
But
type of
what were your
patience.
overall? At least watching the clips, what were your feelings about Mr. Newton's performance? Do you think he matched Dr. Bryan's energy?
Absolutely not. He's a narcissistic asshole, and when he got challenged with a woman with a brain, he couldn't function. It was like, does not compute, does not compute, does not compute.
Do you think it was really that his brain wasn't computing it, or was it more of him? Because I also saw Nick Cannon, right? And I think there's just a resistance to the idea of being, and men love this word, so shout out to men, accountable for one's behavior.
I don't think it's accountability. I don't think it's an issue of accountability. I think that it is like it's an issue of not being able to see outside of your own reality. I don't think it's accountability. I think that they, like the Nick Cannons and the, what's his name?
Cam Newton.
The Cam Newtons of the world can't see outside of their own reality. Because if the reality that you live in is, hey, I can meet any woman and make any woman do what I want them to do, you think that's real life. And it's not.
Did this motherfucker just put his glasses on?
Your bag is enabling you to do a lot of things that you would not be able to do with a lot of other people.
That's fair.
If that man was a plumber, he would not have 9 kids because Cam Newton ain't that fast.
Well, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. Let's not act like plumbers.
Hold on.
Disagree.
I'm not talking about the fact that he's a plumber. Somebody ain't fat. Is what I'm talking
That's a
about.
lot of
With that top hat, looking like
he can't straight outside of one.
Yeah, I can't.
But here's Erica. This is where I have to push back.
I agree.
That's a lot of dudes that ain't got no money. Not even plumbers, because plumbers make good money.
Plumbers make good money. Electricians too.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's a lot of dudes working at Walgreens, at UPS, that got 8-9 kids.
We don't even have to go that far. Remember Ayanna Fix My Life, where dude had 23 children
and no job.
and no job. How could he with 23
so let me
children?
back it up. So the issue is the woman that's broken, that is looking for something that fulfills the thing that's broken in her. Is that what y'all saying?
No.
Is that what we taking?
Not
That?
necessarily. What I'm saying is, you can't say. And to his point, he said something in the video where he was like, "Yeah, broke men can't understand where
See, I
I'm coming
didn't see
from."
that part.
I
blah,
don't
blah,
remember
blah,
that
blah,
part.
blah.
I didn't see that
He
part.
said
I can
broke
see that.
men
I
can't
can
do
see
this,
him
broke
saying it
men
too.
can't operate in this way, and broke men absolutely
They do.
operate
Sometimes.
in this way. They might not
Sometimes.
financially support their children the way he does,
Mhm.
but they absolutely make them. And
Okay,
they absolutely. He
let's-
said broke
let's-
men. He
let's
said broke
see
men
what the
can't get a
counselor
woman.
got to
That's
say.
what he
See,
said.
Erica's
He
still
did.
reading my mind.
He did.
He
say
said
that.
broke
He
men
did.
can't get a woman. And
He
broke
did say
men
that. I forgot that.
absolutely.
And they do it
He
all the
forgot
time.
it.
Get
They
plenty
do
of
it all
women.
the time.
They do it all the time.
They spread seed all over the world.
Now hop in here. I don't know if you saw just the clips or did you see the whole interview?
Yeah,
But
I saw the whole.
you saw the all 2.5 hours. We simpatico.
See,
Okay.
that's a. Hey, listen,
Let the license. Look at
that's
all
a
them
license.
credentials.
The license say I
Let
gotta
all
watch
them
it so I know what I'm
credentials
talking
talk about
about.
what you talking about. So
Look
he
at
got that man got none of that credentials behind him. Let him talk.
That's my frat.
He
He
about to
busted that shit.
diagnose him. He about to call say he's like borderline
If you don't
personality
say he is
disorder.
narcissistic, we ain't friends no more.
Hop in here. What was your assessment? You can give your non-clinical assessment or your clinical assessment. I'm open to either.
Okay, well, first of all, we're in the time of reality television, so he knew the game plan. So he probably saw the video with her and that other guy, Nick Cannon, and he's smart because we've been watching like Shay Shay all year, right? And it took that one interview, right, with the comedian, and his name just went out of my head. Little comedian, help me out.
Unmute us. Cat Williams.
Cat Williams. And so his Shannon Sharp show blew up. And now there's a formula, right? So I think Cam knew, let me get her on my stage, right? And then and then her holding him accountable, because you're not used to seeing somebody hold an athlete, a rich and famous athlete, accountable. And it worked. It went viral. So from this point on, he will have highly rated podcast shows. Second of all, it needed to be said, and he was brave enough to sit there and take it for the 2.5 hours. Then the pettiness came back out, and the way to get more views, because now he has titled it, When a 41-year-old woman who's never been married or who's been engaged 4 times with no kids tries to check me. So they're playing off the hype from it. But I thought it was very telling for a beautiful woman to tell this athlete, and she's his type too, because I looked at his other girlfriends and former friends, and she looks like the type that he would date. And even look at her in the video. She was not dressed like a typical psychologist, right? When I first saw the picture, I was like, well, maybe that's one of his girlfriends, right? So she knew if she played this one right, she would go viral. And what has happened? She went viral. So part of this is it was a planned effect. And it got us talking. And now I will be on 4 shows talking about this subject matter. So if that was the intention to blow us up, it worked fantastic. But the wonderful thing is now we're going to learn a lesson about accountability, because that's what I got from it. And now I've been using it with my male clients as well, because I have 15 Black male clients in therapy. And for those of you all who don't realize that, that is phenomenal, because now, guys, men are trying to fix what's broken with us. And that man is broken, whether you believe it or not.
Lee,
Who
let me ask you this.
could walk away
Extremely.
from that episode not thinking he broke it?
Yeah,
A lot of
extremely
people.
broken.
A lot of people. Let me ask you this:
Extremely
when you're
broken.
saying you're having conversations with men around this topic, I really like to know your professional. What conversation are you having? Because a lot of men have been in a lot of threads saying, "But Cam Newton can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Cannon can afford it, right?
Yep.
They can afford it financially. Can they afford the emotional toll? Can they afford the supportive toll?" So when you're having these conversations with the young men, old men you're having it with, where do these things centered around?
Right. So let me give you a little fact. The 15 Black men who are in my practice receiving individual therapy and a few marriage therapy, they're broken men, and they are able to enunciate and to say and profess that I'm broken. Why are you broken? Well, Doc, I have multiple kids by multiple women. Why did you choose to live that and do that? Because, Doc, my grandfather has multiple kids by multiple women. My dad has children on the outside, my uncles. And then I give them the history of slavery. The buck. The buck was put into place for the 6'3" Black slave man to have sex with 20 women. So he had to learn to turn his emotions off, right? Because if I have to sleep with 20 women and reproduce children, I can maybe just love one or two of the women, but the other women is like I'm a factory machine, right? So I got to be able to cut the emotions off and just have these babies, right? And then it was interesting that Cam said, I had a father in my life, right? I bet if you do the research, his father probably has what? Multiple kids by multiple women. So in his head, well, what have I done wrong? The man who I love the most, my first role model to manhood, also has multiple kids by multiple women. My mom accepted it. My siblings' mothers accepted it. And maybe this is what women like, because I'm an athlete, and how many of my comrades have multiple kids by multiple women? So we have normalized it. And I think in all of our Black families, how many of us got uncles and dads and granddaddies with multiple kids by multiple women, to the point where we like, well, what's wrong with it? And that's where we got to break that conditioning and recondition us to say, no, I should be in a home with my children, raising my children up. And then you have somebody like me. I've been divorced 12 years, and I've raised a phenomenal young 22-year-old daughter because I gave her my attention daily. Even when she wasn't in my house, she had my attention daily. No man can spread himself over 8 kids in multiple houses. And that's the real talk that us men need to have with other men. Because, ladies, men aren't hearing you. Because if Sean and Erica, if you don't lay down with me and have my baby, let me tell you, I'm going to sleep with your best friend and she'll give me one. I'll sleep with your sister and she'll give me one. So I'm not worried about the women, but maybe us brothers got to start holding each other accountable.
But I'm worried about the women. Is my mic on?
I think so.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm worried about the women. Like, you worried about the men and them being accountable and them being responsible for themselves. I'm worried about women who think it's okay to lay down with men like that. That means that's also something broken in them.
Yes.
So, and I said a long time, like, everybody focuses on like, oh, he got baby daddies, he got da 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 da. But what makes a woman lay down with a man? They got 3 baby mamas and 8 kids.
Oh, that's an easy answer.
Wait, with him or with anybody?
But
Not an
anybody.
athlete. I'm not talking about money.
Right.
I'm talking about money aside.
Okay.
I'm talking about regular people, right?
Daddy issues.
There is something broke. Correct. The same reason that men do it is mommy issues.
Some men do daddy
it
issues
because
too.
Sometimes it's daddy issues, but usually it's mommy issues. So
Right.
men got mommy issues, women got daddy issues, and now we're meeting in the middle, and we're trying to navigate life in whatever way possible. And our dysfunction is bleeding on their dysfunction. It's not the man problem, and it's not a woman problem. It's a community problem. It's everybody. Everybody has a role to play. So until men get the help that they need and women get the help that they need, and everybody says, hey, I got boundaries, I'm not doing this, or I realize that this is my trigger and I'm not doing this, or I realize that, hey, I might want you to father me a little bit in this relationship. Like, we're never gonna get to a point where we are 2 broken people creating another broken home. And I think that is what Miss Girl was trying to get out. I don't remember her name, but I think that's what
Dr. Bryant
was trying to get at. Miss
Cheyenne,
Dr. Fan, whatever her name is. I think that's what she was trying to get at. Like, broken people procreating create broken people.
Let me ask this, and everybody jump in when you know. Cam and Nick would argue that their homes aren't broken, that because they are financially supportive and spend the time at each place they can
wait a
when
minute.
they can.
Just to correct that a bit, Cam Newton on that interview said that all his children live with him.
You say that, but I listened to I never said that. I never heard him say that.
He said it.
Even if he did.
Because I was like, huh?
Even if he did.
Do all the baby mamas live with him too?
No. I don't believe
that was still part of the conversation.
Then it's still broken.
Then it's still broken.
Yeah.
No matter where they live, if they're not all
Then it's
together,
still
it's
broken.
quote unquote broken. My question then is, a lot of men say that if they're paying the financial cost to be the boss, that's not a broken family. I think we all would agree, and correct me if I'm wrong, that that's not the case. But Sean, me and you were having this conversation the other day, and you said that you didn't necessarily agree that dad had to be in the home for it to be a whole home.
Well, what I actually said was I don't think both parents need to be in the house to raise a healthy, functioning child. I'm not saying that.
Question real quick. No,
Wait,
I have a question. Did you grow up in a 2-parent home?
No, but
okay. That's
but elaborate.
Go.
But elaborate.
So,
no. I was just clarifying.
So let me preface this by saying I can see the benefit. I'm not going to say there's no benefit in mom and dad being in the house. Of course, there is a benefit. Of course, I do think there's more of a benefit to the parents for them both to be in there than the child, right? Because they help to balance out the load of taking care of a child, right? You got these two people in the house. If somebody is tired, the other person can give them a bath and put them to bed. So there's a shared load when they're both in the house, right?
Okay.
Where I think the difficulty in a broken home, and I'm not going to argue whether the home is broken or not, right?
I think broken is a triggering word, by the way.
It just means that the parents are not together. That's all that means, right?
Yeah.
I think the struggle with that is you have these two separate people, and the real problem is everybody's trying to alpha. Everybody's trying to manage what's going on with the other person and the kid. And to me, that's where the struggle comes in. If everybody understands their role, if everybody aligns on their role, you the dad, these are your responsibilities. You the mom, these are your responsibilities. We will come together when we need to do shared responsibilities. I think there's a way to have a very balanced kid inside of that. That kid doesn't have to have, who doesn't have to walk away. Because I'm a kid from a broken home, right? I saw my parents not collaborating. I am the effect of my parents not collaborating. So, and I have a child whose parents are in a broken home, right? We collaborate. And if you met her, and maybe she'll be fucked up in a little bit. I don't know. She may have to go to Khalid for some therapy in 20 years. I don't know, right? But from what I can see right now, she is very healthy. She is a high functioning child. She has a lot of self-value. And that is because we both pour into her in our own individual ways. Right. She knows she can rely on each of us for the things we're really good at. Sure. And she knows who she can't rely on for the things. Sure. So she's without nothing. She targets who she needs to for what she needs. But I think getting kids to be whole is the parents coming together and working together to get that kid to the finish line, not being in the house together.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
As a concept, I 100% agree with you.
Absolutely.
And I think, Sean, your opinions.
Lord, y'all done brought that man out. Go ahead.
I think your opinions are colored by your experiences.
Absolutely.
As all of ours.
Absolutely.
As all of ours.
Absolutely.
I am the product of a single parent household, but I asked you this when we were talking about it, and I'm asking this rhetorically. If you had two great friends that lived with you, right, that could continuously pour into you and be a part of your life and right there in your face every day, that could support you, love you, we're assuming that they're high functioning.
Right.
I'm doing that air quotes. That's better than having one, right?
I'm not
I said this is rhetorical.
Yes.
This is rhetorical.
Yeah.
This is rhetorical. So I'm not saying that you can't have great children that come out of single parent households. They do every day. Absolutely.
Every day.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, if we're having an honest conversation, having two high functioning, caring, supportive, loving parents in the house every day, all day would
Yes,
be
easier. Absolutely.
would be the superior method.
Correct.
That's
Right.
all I'm saying.
Correct.
That's right.
Not a toxic mom and
Yeah.
not
That's
a
right,
toxic
that's
mom
right.
and a
Somebody's
stable
fucked up.
dad.
Yeah.
Not a toxic dad and a stable mom.
But here's the problem.
But two parents that are
Here's
high
the
functioning.
here's the problem, and Dr. Brian talks about this on the thing, right? Most motherfuckers are not high functioning.
Well, that's about
That's a
who you
whole other
choose to
conversation.
marry. That's a different
That's
conversation.
a whole other conversation.
That's about who you choose to procreate with. That's about who you choose to marry. That's about
We got
who
you.
you
We
choose
got
to
you.
stay
Right.
with.
We coming
That has
back.
nothing to do with the fact that these two people are
Yeah.
right. So that's a different conversation. And he raised his hand. He not stupid, so I'm gonna let him go. But can we talk about friendship?
we get there. We getting there. We getting there. We
I
talking
want
about
to
Cam.
talk about friendship.
We talking about Cam the lead. Then we gonna get to the
I
other.
want to
shit.
go to friendships.
You know
Violet,
what,
what you
Erica? I got you, Erica. I got you. No, I want to just make this point. The first Black president came from a broken home, right? Possibly the first Black woman to be president came from a broken home. So, of course, there's a million and one examples. I'm from a broken home. And I just explained that I've been divorced 12 years and my daughter is on her way to medical school. No dysfunctions at all. On the reverse, and maybe this is a show topic for another show, I have 20 of my friends, and count that, folks, 20 of my friends who are in their 50s and 60s going through divorces now. So when I sit down with them as their friend who happens to be what? A clinician, I'm saying, wow, you got to 25, 30 years, raised your kids. Why would you divorce in this chapter of your life? They said, Khalid, I should have divorced a long time ago, but I wanted to appear to be Claire Huxtable and Heathcliff Huxtable, raise our kids in the home together. But what ended up happening is, because now they're seeing their children, 20-something-year-olds, acting out because they saw that toxicity between mom and dad who wasn't loving each other no more. But Brian, you're right. If two highly functioning parents are on target and the kid gets the benefit of seeing them every day, day in and day out, that's wonderful. But what I'm seeing as a therapist with DCFS and now private practice, it's always one parent who's the functional one and the other one who is, well, let me let the other parent handle the business, right? And so that's why we all got to do our work. We all got to do our work. And if that doesn't happen, this is what happened. And then I have a veteran who I'm working with. This man has, to talk about what you said, Erica, earlier, he has 26 kids. And this is, I work in a homeless program, and he this is his first apartment he's ever had at age 62 years old. So I said, Mr. Veteran, when did you get out the military? He said, at 22. So for 40 years, where were you at, sir? Because you're 62 now. He said, I live with my different broads. And I said, when he said that, I said, and something triggered me. How many kids do you have? He said, I have 26. I said, can you tell me how many mothers? Tell me how many mothers you think, Sean?
20. Because somebody did they did a repeat.
Well, I'm going to say
18.
18.
Brian?
You said 26 kids?
26 kids.
Yeah, I'm going to say 19, 20.
Okay, y'all, Erica and Brian, you're close. He has 17 mothers. I asked him to write his kids' names down, full names and birthdays. He couldn't. And then I asked him, man to man, how did you get 17 women to sign off on this? He said, Doc, I know who my prey is. I know who I'm a target. I know who I'm going to go after. I'm not going to go after the woman who got it going on. I'm going to go after the low-hanging fruit women. And I said, wow, you can say that with all honesty. He was like, I'm messed up. So and so that's who I target. So guys, that's the mentality out here in the world.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be making all this money as a private practitioner.
And I'm gonna tell you something.
I know that's right.
When I
Let me $5.
I don't think our sound is on yet.
No, you good.
Okay, so when my friends meet men, I'm married for the people that don't know me. But when my friends meet men, the first thing I ask them is, where does he live? Because 9 times out of 10, a homeless man is gonna love you real bad, real hard, real fast. He
Yes.
needs somewhere to live. He gonna trap you with a baby, and you gonna be stuck.
Yes.
Where does he live? And if a man don't have a house and an address, he is a vulture.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry.
I'm not talking about I don't live with. I'm not talking about live with my mama. I'm talking about you don't have an address. I'm talking about
Is this a common thing?
Absolutely. A man will go from woman to woman to woman to woman to woman. They
We
will
have
go from house
1,300
to
vets
house
in our
to
program.
house to house. It's called homelessness.
Brian, you can see this,
and they call it relationship.
Not to call any of your particular friends out, but I'm sure you know a lot of men who they'll date somebody.
No, the fuck I don't.
Now they may own their homes, but this is still reflective of it, right? They break up with they date somebody for X amount of time. They'll break up. They'll be single for like 2 months. They'll be with another girl for X amount of time. Break up. Be single for 2 months. Get with another girl. It's the same cycle. It's the exact same thing.
I call that love and being in
love. not when you're in my home.
Yeah, I don't know anybody.
I'm talking about when I can't. When a man is like, "Oh, you can't come to my house because I got a roommate," or "You can't come to my house because I got this." No, nigga, you're homeless. I'm sorry for the N-word, but no, man, you're homeless.
Where's Jamal with his nigga count?
You're homeless, and I'm not doing it. And so the first thing when my friends meet new men, I say, "Where does he live? Have you been to his house? Have you?"
That's a fair question.
Where does he live? Have you been to his house? And if the woman is like, "Oh, I've never been to his house," he said he has a roommate. Red flag number 1.
Even if he got a roommate.
Because even if he got a roommate, why you can't go to his house?
Right.
Yeah.
Fact.
So men will homeless.
He got a roommate, all right.
Men will homeless themselves, and sometimes it's not even that they live with a woman. Sometimes it's that they don't have a home. Because their previous home was with another woman. So they're going from woman to woman. They living out their car and their friend's house or whatever. Or their mama crib or whatever. They don't have a real home. Yeah. Okay. But Cam and Nick have this problem where they think, in my opinion, I'm not a clinician. They have this problem where they think that money is the solution to all things.
It's not just them.
Children.
It's not just them.
Your children are not going to be fixed because they got money.
It's not just them.
You know how many broken rich kids we deal with on an everyday basis?
It's not just them.
It's not just them, but a lot of people, a lot of people feel like money solves problems. If I provide financially, then I've done what I needed to do without thinking about the fact that you can't. Yes, it's a homosexual. You're absolutely
homosexual.
Right. But you cannot be present for 18 children all at the same time. It is dysfunctional and you are broken.
Yeah, but here becomes not to necessarily push back, but just looking at from their perspective, are they really trying to be present?
But that's what makes it broken.
And I don't disagree.
But that was her point. It's broken.
Let me push back. And I'm doing this hypothetically.
No, this is what you really think.
This is what. No, I listen. Hold on. So I have 4 kids. I was married twice by my wives. Don't you ever judge me. Anyway, 2 kids that I did not live after a certain amount of time live with me every day, and then 2 that to this day do. But my question then, Rick, becomes let's define broken.
Yeah.
Somebody asked that earlier. Let's define broken. It is broken meaning both parents aren't in the home 24/7. I'm asking.
They don't. My understanding is they don't share a dwelling.
That is her definition. We're not all.
It's just that simple. You don't share a dwelling.
So I'm not in the crib 24/7 with my kid.
Yeah.
I want to bring Kylie back in this. Broken. Like when you're talking about from a clinical definition, what are we saying right here?
Well, when you think about a marital union, you're together. So if you are divorced, if you are no longer with your significant other, that's seen as it's broken. And it's just a street term. You could say that we're just no longer together. We're separated. We have 2 different single parent homes. You know what I'm saying? And then we also got to look at single parenting. That, okay, physically, yes, I am a single person who is a parent, But again, we bring it together. Me and my ex-wife were great co-parents. So we got to think about the language that we use. And again, broken is a prolific term, a provocative term, but it has a reality to it, right? Because the two are no longer together. And that's why both parents have to make every effort to come together. They got to be at the recitals. They got to be at the graduations. They got to be at the birthday parties. You know, they got to be at the school conference and the report card pickup days, because the child should feel almost seamless to the child. With my situation, my daughter, I was there. I had custody 2 weeks out the month. My ex-wife had custody for 2 weeks. And it was a shared 50-50 custody. And we made it work. Was it difficult at first? Yes. But for me, as a clinician who used to work for DCFS, I know what kids go through from broken homes. And I was not going to raise Anaya to have daddy issues, because I'm divorced from Elisa, and now I'm sleeping with every woman in Chicago and acting like I have not only divorced my wife, I've also divorced my daughter. I did the polar opposite. And to be real honest, I got talked about. Because of that. Because we're not used to hearing a man say, I'm going to put my kid first. We're used to hearing mama say that, but we're not used to dad saying it, because dads tend not to have to. But see, I needed to be 100% participatory, especially because I wasn't going to be in the house every day. And then you have to advocate for court. That's another topic. I had to go in and tell them, no, I don't want every other weekend. I want as much custody, physical custody of my child. And so I got awarded 50%, where I had her for 6 months, she had her for 6 months, and we just split during the month. So again, this is where we have to not be so broke down in our mentality and in our behaviors and say, I brought this human being into this world. Let me make sure I give them a fighting chance, because for me, guys, I never had a dad one day of my life. But 2 months ago, I won my 5th Father of the Year award. And I want you to think about that. I never had a daddy, not one day. No, I had a daddy, James Evans Sr. and Heathcliff Huxtable. Those were my 2 dads. And just the TV images gave me enough to win an award 5 times. So imagine if I would have had a dad in the home with me every day. So no, I don't have no respect for a Nick Cannon or a Cam Newton. And I don't care about what they do for a living. I care about those broken human beings who, gonna have to come and see me in 20 years because they got daddy issues. And we got to stop this.
I forgot my point.
I wanted to just hold on. First of all, let me say fire.
That was.
And appreciate everything you've done and do and say, not only for your child, but for everybody that's raising a child. Let me say that first and foremost.
I don't have anything to add to that. The only thing I wanted to add, you were talking about how you have to go to the school recitals, you have to be at the report card pickups. I would take it a step further and tell co-parents to get out of their own way. Celebrate that parent on Father's Day, right? Take them out to dinner, right? Have them over your house. Let your child, y'all all have dinner together, right? Y'all just go on car rides and go to the beach. Y'all ain't got to fuck. Y'all can just, the child needs to see you guys have a relationship.
Correct.
Good and bad. Because I do argue in front of my daughter because I want her to be able to see how we conflict resolution as well, right? So I think, again, people need to get out of their own way. And that person's going to be in your life for 18, 25, 30 years. You might want to just start building that relationship.
But that's assuming. This is a huge leap, right? Yeah. That's assuming that you had any of that bridge built when you all made that baby. And a lot of folks did not have any of those skills or that relationship before. So to ask them to build that after is a huge leap. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. But what I'm saying is, what I'm backtracking and saying is, a lot of people, men and women, need to figure out that you need to make that bridge bond before you even have that.
I challenge that because you have people who were married 30 years who still couldn't operating and having
Co-parent
dinner, right?
in a real
I'm not
way.
what I'm then
You
that's
just have
not,
to-
that's not the relationship you want to bring a child
but
in.
that's a
Period.
parent
And not that you're
issue.
married. Married don't make a relationship a relationship.
What
That
I'm-
just is a legal piece of paper.
What I'm saying is you have to to challenge what you're saying. It really doesn't matter how the relationship started. It's how you choose the relationship to go forward. You have to make the choice
Agreed.
to have that kind of relationship.
Agreed. But
with
usually
a
how the
co-parent.
relationship starts
Yeah.
is how it
I was
usually
gonna say
goes.
usually who a person
Fair.
is. Usually who a person is when they meet someone is who they are.
Yeah.
And everybody ain't doing the work. Everybody ain't trying to grow. Everybody ain't trying to be different. And like, oh, I need to grow because I got kids. Like, ain't nobody doing that.
Yeah, everybody just saying they
"This who
brokenness.
I am. I'm just broken. You gonna deal with me the way that I
That's
am,
right.
and I ain't changing. So that's where that
That's
comes
fair.
in, right? But people who are, well, I have a couple instances in my own family where people have grown. I say all the time, and I don't know if my husband's watching, but his mom and his dad
What
have
up,
the
D, if
most
you watching?
amazing relationship I've ever seen. She's friends with his new wife. We all come together for holidays. We all kick it. Like, that is what family looks like. Family is, hey, we couldn't make this work, but we all still family.
Yep.
That's your mama, I'm your mama. If I tell you do something and she say you do something, you better do it. I don't care who said it. So that's
how we
a
move.
very
That's how we
mature,
move.
right? That's a very mature standpoint. But I wanted to talk about this person up here who said something.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
dear.
no. Do not.
No, we can't get
do
caught
not
up
dive
in the
into
comments.
the
We
comments.
cannot get
Do
caught
not
up
dive
in the
into-
comments.
If you go into
Bye.
the comments, we'll be here all night.
Bye.
But
Okay,
I do
go
want.
to the next
I
topic
do want to
then.
shift.
I
We
wanna
are
talk about
about.
friends.
We do
Can
want to
please
shift.
talk about friends?
It's not even about friends. This conversation started because we were talking about the Cam and Nick conversation about relationships, and then we started. Me and Sean were talking about. We were like, so there comes a certain point where a relationship has to end. Be that a friendship, be that a romantic relationship, be that an associate, be that a coworker, whatever.
sure.
Wherever this is not we're not putting a boundary around it. You have to figure out when and how and where and why your boundaries are built around your relationships. So the question becomes, let's start here. Why do you feel you need to cut people out of your life? Be that romantic, be that friendship, be that anyway, you've decided this person is not anybody I need in my life. Why is that decision made? And you can frame that around any way you want to do it. Sean,
Erica's been starting a little bit. Let's have.
No, hold on.
Oh, you want me?
I want Kyle, my frat back to come to the bed. I want you to start this conversation.
Okay.
You did him, did me. Did.
So, in full transparency, this is something I'm still working on as a human being.
Aren't we all?
Well,
not me. Fuck you. I'm
Not
sorry.
me.
I am loyal to a deep fault. And that's something I've recognized in myself. This is something I work on. But the question is, when do I know it's time to cut somebody out? When, and I'm thinking about somebody in particular, right? When it just didn't work, when the relationship just wasn't working. I'll give an example. So I had a really good friend, a girlfriend. Not that kind of girlfriend, a girlfriend. Just want to be clear.
We gotta clarify.
They go, all of a sudden lesbian gonna be popping up in the comments in the section.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I had been friends with her. We were like BFFs for like 20 years, right? And then there was a shift in her life that made her really hard to be friends with. And to be fair to her, her friendship needs changed. And I couldn't meet them. I tried to be the friend she needed, but I couldn't because it conflicted with the friend that I am, right? It deeply conflicted with that. So we went on a few years and then we just had this massive blow up. And I just realized she said something to me that made me realize I couldn't be friends with her anymore. And I'm a person where if you intentionally try to hurt me, I can't fuck with you. I can't.
Was the hurt intentional? Or did you feel like it?
No, she said it. She said it to me. I went and asked her. So she said something about me being disloyal, which me being loyal to people matters to me, right? So I was hurt by that comment. And when I asked her about it, she was like, "Oh, I only said that to hurt your feelings."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, we done." Right? So I can recognize when a relationship is running its course And that was a situation where I just realized the relationship had ran its course. I wasn't the friend she needed. She most certainly wasn't the friend I needed. And it was okay for us to separate. And we did. And I haven't talked to her and people will still bring her up because we were friends for so long. And I'm like, I wish her well. I wish her healing. But we're good. Forever.
You said you was gonna go.
Oh, sorry. Where you at?
So I want to differentiate. There's goodbye and see you later, right? See you later is I got to take a pause in this relationship. I got to regroup and regather myself. The goodbye is, you know what, this no longer benefits me. Or I'm not good for you, it's not benefiting you. And so let's go ahead and part ways, right? And if any of you all have any of you all been on a diet before or a healthy living plan? Yes, no? Well, what happens is that you can see all the commercials, right, telling you to lose weight. You can have people around you who are fit and trim. But the day you start your diet is the day you wake up and say, I'm ready to start, because you have to put the work into it. You have to have less calories coming into your body. You have to go to that gym 3, 4, 5 days a week. But it's once you decide that this is the new chapter that I want to walk in, that's when you know you're ready to say the goodbye. And in saying goodbye in relationships, again, it's when it's no longer serving you purpose. So again, when I'm talking to my 20 friends who are now going through divorce or have finalized their divorce, they had that aha moment, that epiphany moment that, you know what, this marriage has ran its course. You know, I made myself applicable. I made myself amenable. I gave grace. I gave mercy. I gave everything. But now I'm living in a home where there's a stranger next to me every day and every night. And I deserve a little bit better than this. And then guys, think about what that pandemic did to us. That pandemic made us sit our black tails behind and say, wait a minute, I don't like how this is. I might die from this COVID. I want to be able to, if I survive this COVID pandemic, I want to live a different life. I want to travel more. I want to finally get that bachelor's degree or that master's degree. I want a new relationship. You know, it made us do self-inventory. So now all of us private practice practitioners, we're book solid, because now people decided, I want to look out for me. I want to go and provide more self-care for myself because I deserve it. I'm no longer going to babysit a dysfunctional, toxic relationship anymore, whether it be romantic, platonic, family members, because I deserve to have a full, fresh, and lively life. So that's when you know to go ahead and say goodbye, when it doesn't serve you a better purpose.
I'm gonna swing it back to what Sean had it on, which is friendship, right? Mm-hmm. The same rules apply to friendship.
Yes.
When you are in friendship with people and it no longer serves you, and it no longer serves them, and you are telling them, hey, friend, this is what I need as a friend. I need you to show up for me like this. I need you to show up for me like that. And they're like, oh, I can't do that. Then it's time to just let the friendship go, because I'm not going to keep begging anybody to show up for me the way that I need them to, not at this big age. So if you have friends that are just not showing up for you in that way, it's time to let friendships go. I believe that friendships are for a season and for a reason. And at the end of the friendship, if you can identify what the reason was, at the end of every friendship I have ever had, I have said, hey, what was the reason and the purpose of this friendship? Why was I here? Why did God allow us to be friends? Then I can say, oh, I did this, she gave me this, she taught me this, he taught me that. If I can identify the purpose of the season that I was in with that person, then I'm okay with letting them go. because everything is for a reason and for a season. Everybody is not going to be your friend forever. And we come into relationships thinking, oh, you've been my friend since I was 9 and we supposed to be friends for life. No. Maybe 50 was the year that we supposed to not be friends no more, because God's plan is better than all of ours. So maybe you were supposed to be a part of my life for the last 41 years. But year 50 is when God said, hey, it's time for you to cut that chain, because they gave you everything they had to give you. Friendships should sharpen you. They should make you grow. They should point out your flaws. I say a real friendship is a mirror. If I don't show you who you are, we ain't friends. If I can't point out your flaws and tell you, hey, that's bogus. Or if you don't see yourself in me and be like, oh, I don't like that. I do that too. And I don't like it when I see it in you. So I don't like it when I see it in me. If your friendships are not a mirror, and if they can't point out things in you that you need to fix, that's not your friend. The season has passed and it is time to move on. You need new friends. Your friends should elevate you, make you better, and get you into therapy.
That was a shot at
Make
somebody.
you go
but I
sit on
digress.
a couch and talk out your problems, because that's what friends do.
Just telling y'all that's a direct shot at somebody on this podcast.
And it's definitely not the clinician.
Go sit on a couch somewhere.
It's two other people here. It could be all shots to Sean.
I sit on the couch every week, so it ain't me.
The motherfucker that says a shot at somebody usually is
I
not the
sit
one
on the
being shot
couch
at.
every week, okay? Without fail. I sit on the couch. So that's what friendship should do for you. It's not, I say all this, I'm sorry, this is my last point.
Okay, go do you think?
Even if it's not, every relationship, the way that you show up in your friendships is the way that you show up in your romantic relationships, whether you want to believe it or not. Whether you believe it to be true or not,
I agree with you.
the way you treat your friends is the way you treat the people who you are in romantic relationships.
Quite frankly,
with.
that's how it should be.
And your intimacy levels with your friendships is the same as your intimacy.
That's usually who you are.
Yeah. It is who you are. It is how you show up.
Absolutely.
So if you are not able to be intimate with your friends, you are definitely not going to be intimate with the people who you lay with. And the absence of intimacy with the people you lay with is why our relationships are broken. We are not intimate with our intimate partners. We think intimacy is sex, but we're not intimate with our intimate partners. Y'all put up a post in the zone that was talking about men and vulnerability and why men can't. And it's an offshoot of this subject, but it's the same. Like, right, y'all aren't intimate with the people in y'all lives because y'all aren't intimate with the people who y'all sleep with. Y'all don't tell the people who y'all lay with what y'all struggles are. So why would you say your friend?
You think that's connected?
It's absolutely connected.
That's what she's saying.
You're either vulnerable or you're not. You said who we are is who we are, right? Ain't that what you said? So either you're vulnerable or you're not.
I would argue.
Oh,
I feel
here we
you.
go.
I don't disagree. I would argue that each relationship is individual and independent in how I move and how I shake with different people in my life.
I'll give you that.
Even my wife.
I'll give you
It's
that.
different than some of my best friends.
I'll give you that. But your wife should be the most intimate relationship you have.
It's also the most vulnerable relationship men have.
Should be.
And it should be. And sometimes that's the one you're most protective of.
That's true, but I'm gonna talk to you offline. But what I have learned in my therapy sessions is that that's dysfunctional.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's unique.
If your spouse is not the person that you're the most intimate with, it's dysfunctional.
Intimacy is
okay, go ahead then. Go on, say what you got to say.
No,
And
what you got?
And you know what, Erica, I want to that was a wonderful summarization, right? You were spot on, sis. And I want to say there's a new phenomenon going on with us men. So researchers show that as us men are getting older, we are getting older and dying lonely. Because what happens is when men develop friendships, right? We think it's the friendships from grammar school, high school, college, fraternity, right? In our early 20s, maybe a couple of friends at work. But as we get older, we don't value the company of people like we should, right? And so women do the polar opposite. Women go on girl trips. They go on Friday night, mimosa nights, cosmopolitan nights at the nightclub. Women they know the power of a village. They know the power of relationships. Us men get into that ego, I don't need to be around no other dude like that. But again, we're dying alone. So we need to talk about the emphasis on building better relationships. All of us, especially, and I'm 55 years old, right? So I had a plethora of experience, right? And I'm a summation of all my experiences. So I learned something from the positive relationships I've been in, and I've learned something from the negative. And the negative relationships make you even better because those are the ones that challenged you. So when you sit back and think about all the negative relationships I've been in, being it romantic, platonic, family members, friendships, whatever. What is the lesson? What is the takeaway from that? So that when you get in another friendship and another marriage and another intimate relationship, how am I going to be better? I have a frat brother who got divorced after over 40 years. He got divorced in January and he got engaged to a new woman on Valentine's Day, 1 month later, right? And when he told me, I said, brother, and you divorced your wife of 40 something years and you're now engaged and you got engaged 1 month later. When was the healing process? What have you learned about yourself? And he said plainly, Khalid, I'm not like you, brother. I don't want to be by myself. I've been with somebody since my 20s, and the fear that I have about being alone has taken over. I gotta replace my wife. And I said, but do you not understand that you will be divorced within a year because you will transfer the toxicity, the dysfunction, and all the negative stuff that you had with your wife to the new wife, right? And that's no good. So I said, do me a favor, make sure you have a long engagement. And while you're engaged, go into individual therapy and then also participate in couples counseling. So you both know who the person that you're laying down with, And he did call me back and say, well, Khalid, I did sign up for individual. And you right, man. It's just that I don't want to be alone in my late 60s. And that's real talk. But that's why we stay too long in relationships, because of our fear, our anxieties, our woes, I don't know how to function by myself. And then the world, especially towards women, you're not in a relationship, what's wrong with you, right? And just like going back to Cam, now he's attacking Dr. Brian, saying that, wow, she's over 40, been engaged 4 times and never married. And she had a great comeback with that. She was like, why should I have been married, have children, and be miserable? I don't have that kind of baggage. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, good thing.
That's a great thing.
I'm going to say this to your last comment real quick. You said that women go on girls' trips. They go do brunch with their friends.
Hold on, Erica over here taking notes, by the way.
I am, because I need to say this. And then I'm
No, do your thing. I love that when I guess get on that shit.
No, I'm just saying, this is what I'm saying, and I'm going to let y'all have it, because this ain't my show. When you have a man in your life who you are married to or in a relationship with, and they don't have a life outside of you, you have created a situation where they don't feel comfortable having a life outside of you. Stop being jealous. Stop being possessive. Stop being insecure. Your man gets to have friends. Your man gets to go on trips with his boys. He gets to go to brunch with his guys. Him and his guys get to go do whatever they need to do to blow off steam. You gotta let him have a life. Because if he doesn't have a life, he gonna sneak and have one. You gotta let him have one.
Can he have one with female friends?
Yes, my husband has female friends, but my husband's female friends are my friends.
I strongly encourage this.
My husband's female friends are my friends, and I want my husband to have female friends because I met them through him.
And then they became your friends.
Correct.
Keep them close, huh?
No, it's not to keep them close, because they still closer to him than they are to me.
But keep them close, though.
No, it's not a keep them close situation.
Then why are they friends with you if they were his friends in the first place?
Because it's a community. Are we not all community?
That's fair.
It's community.
I'm just asking questions.
Wonderful thing.
It's the same way that I'm going to give you this example.
Do it.
No. So
No, give me the example. No, you give me the example.
So if I come, no, I can't do that. Okay, so I can't do that. So
I can't. I already know where you're going.
No. So all I'm saying is,
Daddy
my
is my
husband's
guy.
friends. My husband is Brian's friend, and we all good in the hood, and I don't care. But your friends, you have to let your husband have a life. Your husband, your significant other, your man, my man. He had to have a life outside of you, sis, because you got a life outside of him. If you wake up on Sunday morning and go to brunch, you gonna call 7 girls and be like, "Hey, we finna go to brunch. We finna turn up and we go If you that type of girl, okay, so that's what you're gonna do. But if your guy do that, you're gonna be looking at him like, well, who you going with it? What y'all doing it? Y'all gonna be on whatever. Don't do that. Let that man live. Because if you don't let him live, he gonna live outside of you. And what you need to know, can he spend it at his friend's house? It depends. So hold on.
That's a whole other.
Hold
on. Eric, stop. Stop. Cut.
I'm sorry.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. They told me don't pay attention to the comments. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They told me don't pay attention to the comments.
Please don't.
I'm sorry. I'll inbox you in a minute.
Especially if it's Jamal.
Yeah, I'm gonna inbox Jamal in a minute. But what I'm saying is, stop the jealousy. Stop the jealousy.
Every relationship
because that's gonna push people outside of the bounds of the relationship.
Every relationship
you gotta
has
give
to have
them space.
Relationships outside of that relationship.
You need autonomy.
Absolutely.
Autonomy is safe. If there is no autonomy, then it is not a safe space for him or you, sis.
Yep.
Everybody needs autonomy.
I don't. I was actually reading the questions.
Go for it.
Go ahead. Because we veered off friendship just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But
that's fine. This is not
just
about.
But it's all one and the same.
Yeah,
I don't see very much outside of
my man can't cheat in peace. I'm sorry, they told me not to respond to y'all.
Stop that.
Go.
We have trolls in the comments. You can't.
No,
especially Jamal. Do not listen
no,
to
it ain't Jamal. My man ain't gonna cheat because baby, I'm doing what I got to do at the crib.
And Clarence. There's a couple of them.
So let's talk about how does one communicate the end of a friendship. And I am not the person to ask this question to.
But you have. You've
bad.
I
just go dark. I just stop talking. And that's not. And I will be honest. That is not the way to do it. It works for me. Well, it's not workable. I just go away, right? But let's be more mature than Chantel, because that is not a mature way. Brian, how does in a relationship, friendship or otherwise, what is the? Okay, that's a good question. How do you actually do it versus, what you think is the best way to do it?
So
and be better than me.
No. So I am, to your point, loyal to a fault, and loyal meaning like long-standing, right? Like most of my, if you name my best friends, female or male, outside of you and a couple other folks,
I was about to say,
outside of a couple other folks, most of my friends I've known since high school and or since the frat in college, right? I'm not saying no new friends, because I got Jeff, I got Teron. I got a few other folks that have been indoctrinating in. A few more that have been indoctrinating in since then. But my core, my base, for the most part, since I've been 14, 15, 16 years old, right? So, but I've also lost some friends that I've known since then as well. And when I've lost them, and what I'm trying to repair right now, as we speak, actually, is usually behind some bullshit, right? Like some, and when I say some bullshit, I mean like some fantasy football, basketball.
That's
like,
real.
That's some petty ass shit.
Some petty ass bullshit.
Petty.
I'm not, and I have never cut off a friendship because of that. And when I've lost or had a friendship cut off because of bullshit, it's usually because of them, and I'm sure it wasn't because of that. I'm sure it was some underlying shit, and that was the breaking point. That was the reason, right? Like you didn't get my $25 back from fantasy football. Fuck you. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but what I'm saying is
it was a trigger.
It was the straw for whatever reason. So what I'm saying to that is I value my friendships, male, female, so much, and I fight for them. even with the people that I'm in love with in a romantic relationship.
Mhm.
If you're coming in with me in a romantic relationship, you're gonna know these people come with me.
I'm exactly
male
like that.
or female. You might not like such and such because they act like this. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I give a fuck. But this is my dude, and I understand how he moves, and I understand it might not exactly move the way you move. I'm gonna navigate that so it doesn't impair our relationship.
Right.
Because that's my dude. I see him in a way you can't see him. I have a relationship with ladies, and any woman that's ever gonna be with me has to understand that I have a lot of female friends. And I mean friends. Like these are my dogs. And you got to be confident enough to understand that these are my people.
I'm keeping a tally.
Shut up. These are my people. And they're my people for a reason. And they'll be there. They were there before you and let you bug out. They'll be there after you.
I have the same philosophy.
Me too.
And you can steal them and friend them and do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day,
That's it.
they're my people.
And
I'm cool with everybody being cool. I'm cool with y'all being friends. I'm
No,
cool
you're
with y'all
not.
going to lunch. I am.
No, you're
No.
not.
For the most part.
I am. Where I get fucking
No,
funky is when you
no.
motherfuckers all. No. Here's what's funny to me, Chantel.
Oh, we got the whole government name.
Chantel, when my friends get to be friends and then exclude me from everything else. You motherfuckers know me.
That bothers me too.
You motherfuckers know each other because of me. And now all of a sudden, I'm not cool. I'm not invited to anything because y'all are all hanging
That's
out.
because you got a penis.
So
Which
clearly,
which I understand, and which I'm not even tripping on.
But imagine when it happens and you have a vagina.
Oh.
So
I saw Chantel and my girlfriend Angie. Angie, I hope you watching. They had Ravinia hanging out just Saturday. And nobody told me shit.
Nobody told me.
Nobody told me a goddamn
But
thing.
you was there though.
I was there, but not with them.
But okay.
Brian is for I don't know how we got here, but he's very, very upset.
I'm not very upset
with his friends
at
like
all.
me.
It's funny. I'm not upset at all, but I think it's hilarious, and I appreciate it
agree.
actually because
agree.
here's what I'm saying, and I'll pass the mic after this. When my friends become friends, I will say I know my friends becoming friends because I hang with good people.
Yes.
And good people
Yes.
gravitate around good people. And when y'all become cool, I know y'all gonna be cool lifelong because I only fuck with good people. I only think it's funny when y'all go to brunch and don't invite me.
I think it's funny. So I have the same philosophy since we're talking about friends and how you know when to end a relationship. So I'm gonna go back to the question, which was how to know when it's time to end a relationship. And for me, my thing is you asked
That was
how
not
to end the relationship.
No, what do you communicate it? Like, what's the process?
I do.
That's a good question.
I do. I communicate it. Not initially, but I think in the beginning there's a distance, right? You're like, we ain't hanging out, we ain't talking, blah, blah, blah. And there's this distance and it's awkward and it's weird. And it's just, and I don't like that energy. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So at the first opportunity I get, maybe it's I'll run into you in public, I'll run into you at somebody's house. I probably won't call because that's real abrasive, but the first time I see you in person, I may say, and I have done this, say, hey, I don't know what's going on, but this is weird. And maybe we're just not friends anymore. And that's okay with me. Is it okay with you or do you want to repair?
Is it okay with you though?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. It depends on the person.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm okay. So I had a friend recently who it was not okay with me with, and I ran into her at a mutual friend's birthday party. And I said, hey, we ain't talked in like 2 years. And it's very weird. And it's not okay with me. And I don't know what happened, but whatever happened, it was weird. And I don't like it. So can we talk about it? That's how I react when it's somebody that I care about.
Mm-hmm.
When it's a friendship that I know has run its course, I'm gonna say, hey, it's weird. Are we friends or are we not? Do you want to repair the relationship or do you want to let it go?
How do you know it's run its course though, Erica?
When I'm gonna be completely honest. When I feel peace. When I feel peace.
Right.
When I don't feel like this is weird. Like when I don't feel like, oh, there's something else here. Like I'm missing something, or I miss you, or I miss what you pour into me, or I miss your love, I miss your presence, I miss what you pour into me. If you leave my life and I don't miss you, it's gone. We're done. We're done because I don't miss you. You may miss me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I might come back into your life to pour into you, but the friendship will never be the same on my end. I'm giving you what you need, and that's okay because that's an assignment too.
Yeah.
But it's not that's not the assignment for me.
No.
You're no longer my assignment. I'm here for you, and I need to find other friends to give me what.
I need, yeah.
But yeah, I need to find other
Pouring
friends
away
to
you
build
need to pour
me
it into.
in another way. So it's that's what it is for me. Sometimes I'm an assignment to somebody's life, and sometimes they are an assignment to my life.
Reason in the season.
Reason in the season. I said that. Yeah, it's
Yeah, you
reason in
said
the
it.
season for
Sean,
me.
come on.
I told,
And I
okay.
want college. I want frat.
Oh
back.
yeah.
So very. I mean, I said this. If how do I communicate? I don't. I will say I'm better in my romantic relationships with communicating than I am my friendships.
Okay,
right.
talk on.
I will say that if I'm done, if I've made a decision, I'm not going to continue a relationship, I just stop communicating. I won't answer your phone calls. You'll invite me to stuff. I will find something else to do. I'll be like, I can't. Look, after watching Dr. Bryant, I realize I'm a hybrid. I have some high functioning things and I have some low functioning things.
Don't we all?
It is a thing, right?
Don't we all?
But what I can say is when I do go dark, if somebody approaches me, and I did have a friend recently, she called me and she said she wanted to talk about why it had to end, why I should stop communicating with her. And I let her come over and we talked, and I was very transparent with her with the reasons why. And we talked, and I realized that I had made a misstep with her, right? And I was like, okay, let's work on this. Like, you clearly are committed to this. I loved you for a really long time. You obviously still love me. Not saying I didn't love her, but she's approaching me. So, right. So this matters to her. I'm open and receptive to trying again. Right. She didn't steal my man. She didn't steal no money.
Right.
We can figure this out. And we're in the process, very similar to you, right? We have been for the last few months trying to figure it out. But yeah, my way of handling it is not ideal. I will just stop communicating. I'll stop showing up to stuff. Man, sometimes I will reach out and be like, hey, most of the time I don't, because if I'm done, I'm for real. So I'm sorry. I'll try to be better in 2020.
Before we go to college, I'm gonna say that I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Romantic relationships are harder to end than
friendships. You gotta communicate that.
No, it's good. I want to pass it to Fred, but I will say this last piece before I pass it to him. I think a lot of this is based on respect.
Mm-hmm.
Respect of me, respect of our relationship, respect of a lot of different things. And when the respect gets broken, it's hard to repair.
Yes.
Khaled, holla at us, brother.
Be more mature than Sean.
Well, I want to talk about a phenomenon that we may not be aware of, and it's called the unspoken cues, right? In ending relationships. So have you ever had a friendship and before you know it, it's been a year since you last talked, right? And that's what we call, again, unspoken cue, that the friendship has ran its course. But instead of having a dialogue, it's understood. Because you got to remember, you've been in a relationship with this person a number of years. You know this person and they know you. They know when the amazing part of this relationship is over with. And it's understood. And maybe if we talk about it, it might bring up some bad stuff. So you know what? Hey, let's just let this end as eloquent and peaceful as possible. We just kind of go our separate ways. So, and what the good thing is, it leaves room open if we want to repair what was broken. And if you really think about it, that's how a lot of us have ended friendships. Now, with romantic relationships, it's got to be a discussion, right? Now, sometimes that discussion is nice, and sometimes it's not nice. But regardless, it's an understanding that this is over with. You know what I'm saying? And again, we have to start being in the mindset that we can no longer invest in anything that's not beneficial to us, And then also we got to remember what we role model. I remember I was having a conversation with my daughter. She was a teenager, late teens, and she had fell out with one of her close friends. And I'm like, Anaya, you're not invested in such and such anymore. She was like, no, Daddy, I'm not going to be like you. And I said, whoa, what Anaya, explain what that means. She said, Daddy, you are a true cancer. And I see why you are a clinician. Daddy, you give your friends break after break. You keep turning the cheek and they keep coming back hurting you over and over again. And I said, well, Naya, come and sit down. Let Daddy explain the bigger picture that an observer wouldn't catch. Because I know my villagers, I know my friends, I know that when we have disagreements, right? When we don't meet, mind to mind, that maybe we have to give each other space. And you only hear one side of the conversation because you hear me on the phone, but you don't hear them on the other line. And on the other line, I'm hearing, Khalid, I'm sorry. Khalid, you are such a straight shooter. You gave me wisdom. You told me to leave that dude alone. You told me to leave that girl alone. And I couldn't receive it. But I had to remember, Khalid, you love me enough to give me that truth, and other people don't. So I had to walk away and figure it out on my own. But Khalid, I'm back. Can I have my friend back? So see, that's when you got to know who you are and who the people in your village are. You know what I'm saying? And again, no matter what, you want to have healthy relationships across the board, because I didn't realize my daughter was observing. And she has based her interactions with friendships in thinking that, man, people use you. But I had to explain, no. It's not always about somebody using. It's maybe because I'm a therapist, I attract people who are hurting and need my help. Even though I'm not therapying my friends, but I'm a friend who happens to be a therapist. And I have a bigger picture type of mentality. So again, the people who are in your village really know who they are. And again, if it doesn't serve you the greater purpose, it is okay to say so long or goodbye. And we got to start doing better.
That's what's
So
up.
earlier I had said that the way you show up in relationships is the way that you show up in your friendships. And I
Yes.
think that it's very classic, like anxious avoidant, or like if for people who know the terms anxious or avoidant, like it's very anxious avoidant, even in our friendships. Like you are drawn to people who withdraw from you and vice versa. So if we don't know how we attach to people, we can't navigate our friendships because we don't know what our attachment are like. So it's
Powerful.
it's very anxious avoidant.
Oh, don't get them started. Don't get them started.
It's all very anxious
You like you
avoidant.
speaking my language?
We are all very anxious avoidant. So go look up anxious avoidant, and y'all understand what I'm saying. But it's all very anxious
I'm in
avoidant.
therapy. He ain't diagnosed me with that yet.
Coming. No,
It's like you leave me and now I'm gonna chase you. Hey friend, why you leave me? Friend, why you don't talk to me no more? No, but everybody they don't.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
But like, why you friend? Why you don't call me no more? Friend, why you not talking to me? Friend, why you not blah 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 blah? And we be like, cause you ain't saying nothing to me. What is going on? It's anxious avoidant because as soon as they do that, you let them back in.
Right.
Oh, you do love me. Thanks. But the minute they walk away forever, now you like, I ain't heard from you. Like it's so dysfunctional. We gotta heal as a community. The moral of the story is, as a community, we gotta heal.
Yes, everybody go to the Khalid.
Go to
He got you.
Don't call me. I ain't got the degree. Call that man over there.
We had a
Yeah, we had time. So let's start wrapping up. I mean, I don't know which one to start with, Erica or Khalid at this point.
Start with the
So
explanation.
we normally ask some kind of profound question at the end, or at least things we find profound, right? I don't really have one. So I here's what I would ask. Just what do you want people to be left with, coming out of this conversation? We've talked about Cam and his dysfunction. We've talked about my dysfunction and not communicating in the relationship. Like, what do you just want people to walk away? What gems are they supposed to walk away with in this conversation?
Absolutely. That is a great question, Sean. Love it. I want everybody to do this homework assignment this weekend. Okay. We are transitioning from summer going into the fall. Summer is when we're relaxed. We're vacationing. Fall, we're going into work mode. We're going into school. No more vacations, back to work. Well, I want you to pretend that you are a job you're going after. When you're going after a job, you want your resume to be sharp, right? When you're going after a job, you want to make sure you have the best outfit on. When you go for a job and going for the interview, you want to look right and tight and be prolific and profound and answer the questions fully and really, connect with the interviewer, right? So I want you to get to know yourselves better, people. And it starts by having the best love affair that you can. And the best love affair you can have is with you. Because I want you to think about that concept. If you are in love, and when I mean in love, I mean deeply in love with you, and not of arrogance, not of ego, but I love me. And I love me so much that I will not sabotage any part of my life anymore. I will not do me wrong. I have learned the lessons, and I will be a better person for me, my village, my family, and the world better. That's your homework assignment. Start having the greatest love affair with you. And then when you do that, you will not do anything to yourself or anybody else to cause this rippling effect, because we have to get rid of these generational curses. I said earlier, if you go and do the background check on Nick Cannon and Cam Newton's dad, I bet they show up like their dads did. And he probably showed up like his dad did, right? We got to break the generational curses, guys. And we just, because we deserve better lives, especially we're older now. I want to leave out this world leaving a legacy of, man, that was a great dude. You know what I'm saying? And I just want all of us to have great lives, because that's what we deserve. God did not put us on earth. He did not put you on earth to be miserable. He did not put you on earth for you to let another human being make you miserable. But that's your decision. That's your decision. Thank you.
What are the takeaways? What's the homework coming out of this?
To love yourself. To love yourself.
I would wholeheartedly agree. The takeaway is love yourself, because no matter what is going on, and one thing that I learned in therapy is that putting yourself first doesn't make you selfish.
Right.
Right? Putting yourself first means that you understand that if you're not whole and you're not well, then you are of no value to anybody else.
Right.
So me first. Am I happy? Do I feel safe? Do I feel secure? Do I feel heard? Do I feel loved? Do I feel protected? If I don't feel them things right there, then I don't really know what this is. Stop being my friend. I don't like you because I'm not safe. I'm not safe. I don't feel safe. But you also have to get to the point where the post that you all had put up about men not caring about the men, like not being able to express whatever. Yeah. I almost commented and I took it down, but I was like, the problem is y'all care too much about what other people think. Who gives an entire F? Once you get to the point where you don't care what nobody think about what you and what you're going through in your lived experience, because we all have a different lived experience. We all grew up different. We had different moms. We had different dads. We had different high schools. We had different colleges. We all grew up different. We all have a very different experience. So if we all have a different lived experience, then our perspectives of life are going to be very different. Right. So you have to get to the point where you just don't give a fuck about what nobody else got to think about what you're going through. What I feel, what I experience, my life, my emotions, how I'm triggered by what you do to me, don't have nothing to do with you, my guy. It's everything to do with me and my lived experience. And you have to be able to articulate that. And if you have friends in your life who you can't articulate that to, them not your people. Them not your people. Not if you're trying to grow. If you're trying to stay where you at, that's cool. But if you're trying to grow and you trying to, I posted something early on my Instagram that said, like, life is about growth and transformation and evolving. If I can't grow, transform, evolve, and become somebody different in your presence, you're not my friend, because I'm always trying to change. You're not my friend and you're not my person, because I'm always trying to grow. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to take a step back and I'm going to take a step forward and I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to take another step forward. I'm going to do what I got to do to get where I need to be. So if you don't have friends that are willing to go on that journey with you, them not your people. Mm-hmm. So that would be my takeaway. Learn how to not give a fuck. Be you. Be unapologetically you. Hurts, pains, high, lows, whatever, because those are your people. The people that's going to be there with you through all of this, the roller coaster of your emotions and your times in life and your everything. Those are your people. The people who are only with you when you up ain't your friends. They with you when you up. And that
Or
goes
down.
or down. And that's for relationships or friendships. Find the people that's gonna ride the waves with you and still give you the support that you need.
Rather
All
way.
right. Be false.
Sean, you always know.
I gotta go
last.
Not I got last because it's your show.
Because the show got that.
It's our show, god damn it.
Who started this? I'm
not about to do this with you.
You know, we'll do this.
I ain't in it.
I've been thinking about something Erica said probably halfway through the podcast about intimacy, right?
I thought it was halfway through that rant. I didn't know which one.
I mean, she kind of, when she was tailspilling a little bit, she hinted at it, right? But I would challenge, I think one of the things that would be good to take away, and Khaled and Erica said some great stuff, right? But like, challenge yourself to be more intimate with the people in your lives, right? Like, you have all these people around you, and I'm not saying if you not like Brian Foster, where you got 5,000 Facebook friends. Do not be intimate with 5,000 people. That's not what I'm suggesting at all, right? Because you went to Chicago, G. But
when the young gets everybody, sorry.
You have these people in your lives, whether it's a reason or a season. I'm a firm believer that relationships are built at low points, right? And I don't want to say like at low points, that's when your relationship is built. It's easy to be cool with somebody when they making a whole lot of money, they got a fabulous house, everything is tight and right, and everything is hot. But your relationship, and this is romantic too, and I told my ex that just came out of this all the time, that's when your relationship is built. When shit is fucked up, when shit is hard, that's when the relationship is solidified and built. So I challenge us all to be more intimate with the people around us, for a lover or friend, and see what shakes out of that relationship. And if they can't handle whatever's going on with you, that's not your person.
That's when the rubber
it's not your person.
You know what? That's very similar to what I was going to say. First of all, let me say, Erica, Khaled, Fred, everybody's watching. Appreciate you as always, contributing, being a part of this. You know, we knocking on, this is crazy in my memories. I was thought we knocking on 5 years.
Really?
Knocking on 5 years of anybody listening to anything I have to say, which is amazing. But
well, 3 years for me.
Yeah.
It'll be 3 years.
So it's thank you for being a piece of this conversation. This is an important conversation. I will say this, and it's partially based on everything that everybody else said. You got to keep it 100 with yourself. Yeah. And by keeping it 100 with yourself, that means that you got to be honest about where you are, where your relationships are, and how you want to either extend those, build those, bridge those, or cut them off. And it's fine.
Yeah.
It is 100% fine to realize that a relationship is not for you anymore, no matter how long you've been a part of it. And it's hard to let go of them. I understand it. I'm one of those, like, my people are my people forever. But sometimes that's just not true.
Yep.
Your people are your people as long as they're your people. And sometimes they don't become your people anymore. Maybe they can become your people later, and maybe they never will again. And that doesn't mean you didn't appreciate and love and respect everything they brought to your life in the moment they brought it there, but they just don't serve where you're moving forward.
Yeah.
Which means you have to be honest and open with who you are, and where you're going. And that means sometimes you got to let folks go.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's no disrespect. That don't mean you don't still love them. That don't mean that you don't appreciate what they did. You just got to move forward.
Yeah.
That's right.
And sometimes you keeping them close and trying to make this relationship work is keeping them from moving forward.
Yeah.
And who wants to do that? Who wants to be an anchor on anybody else's life? That being said, love y'all. Appreciate you watching the show. My bad, been a little bit late. It's summertime shot. We still get it in, y'all.
Both seasons.
We will see you all next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Appreciate you. Love you. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.